In this video, I'm gonna talk about my first ever street photography photo walk where I photograph strangers on the streets. So the background is that, as you know, I've kind of become fed up with macro photography. I started feeling that way earlier this summer, and I still feel like I'm probably done with macro photography, mostly. It doesn't feel exciting anymore. And in the last few days, I was home sick and my kids were sick and I was just laying in bed watching YouTube. And I started watching a lot of street photography videos. And I got inspired. I felt like I should try this. And I remember 7-8 years ago when I started photography for the first time, I also wanted to try street photography, but I could never quite overcome the fear of photographing strangers in the street. I was too afraid of confrontation or what people would think of me. But I figured now I am 7-8 years older. I feel more, how do you say, rooted in myself. I feel more sure of myself, and I think I might be ready now at 41 years of age to actually try street photography again. So yesterday I had a couple of errands in town, so I brought my Ricoh GR3X with a little cute viewfinder here on top, and decided to do an hour or two of street photography. And of course, I did not have any expectations to get any great photos. My mission, my goal yesterday was to just photograph people and not be too scared of it, and just to see how it feels. And I was anxious beforehand. I was a bit scared, like I wasn't sure I would be able to do it. So in the beginning, I was basically walking around holding the camera like this and pretending like I was filming or just holding the camera. One thing I did a lot was I held the camera like this because then it kind of looks like I'm not actually taking photos, but I could very easily take photos by pressing my thumb like this. A bit sneaky, right? But this helped me kind of overcome my initial fear of like being accused of taking someone's photo. So it felt a little bit better just walking around like this and then doing like this when I want to take a photo. So it worked out okay. Of course, I mean, I don't really like being sneaky this way. I would prefer to just be upfront that I'm taking someone's photo and just do like this. And I hope that over time, if I continue street photography, if I continue to find it interesting, maybe I will develop the calmness to be able to do that. And when I started walking around taking photos, one of the first realizations I had was that I cannot have the camera in my bag or in my pocket even though this is a very pocketable camera. It doesn't work for street photography, at least if you're walking around and trying to capture a moment. Like, you need to really have the camera in your hand, turned on. Otherwise, you will not be quick enough to catch a moment. So that was my first learning. I thought that I could have it in my pocket and then just bring it out like this. The second reason I think you want to have it in your hand, ready to go, is that then it's harder to notice for other people that you're taking a photo. Like if you do this movement, you bring up the camera and hold it like this, then it's like really, really super obvious that you're taking a photo. But if you just walk around like this and then do like that, then it's, a bit more discreet. Even though when I came home and looked through all the photos, I quickly realized that even though I thought I was really discreet walking around like this, like, it seems like it was very obvious to most people that I was actually taking their photo, like, because I saw that in pretty much every photo the person was looking at me. Another strange thing happened, and that was like immediately when I came into town and walked off the subway train. For the first time ever in my life, another street photographer took my photo. And there was a guy like holding a pretty big camera like this. That was like his strategy. He held it like this on his chest, and of course the camera was exposing like a big lens, and he walked around like this and probably took photos. So it's really a funny coincidence that the first time ever that I decide to do street photography, I see another street photographer who actually takes my photo, or it looked like he took my photo. And maybe it's a sign. And actually, when I've been researching different street photographers, trying to find inspiration, one of the very top ones for me, like top 5, is actually a Swedish street photographer who lives in my city, Fredrik Axling. I think that is the style that I love the most, like short depth of field, beautiful colors, lots of work behind the colors, beautiful light. Like if I continue pursuing street photography, I want to aim to take aesthetically pleasing street photos. Like I'm not that much for documenting interesting things happening. Like I want to make beautiful photos. That will be my main priority. Then if something interesting happens in the scene, that's a great bonus. That's awesome. But I will focus on making the photos just look pretty. And I think a possible explanation why I met another street photographer for the first time when I decided to do street photography myself, I think it wasn't purely a coincidence. I think I had a shift in mindset when I went into town yesterday, because I started looking at other people for the first time. I started getting into the mindset of a street photographer. And I think I've never quite done this. Like I've always been in my own world, like thinking about stuff that I'm about to do and so on. I never ever look at other people. Whenever I'm out, for example, with a friend or with my wife, I am never the one who discovered that we are walked past a celebrity or something. Like I never notice other people. But yesterday, since I was about to do some street photography, I started looking at other people, and I quickly realized that it is fun and interesting to look at other people. Like you shouldn't be on your phone the whole time if you're riding the subway or walking around in town. Look at other people. It is actually quite interesting and fun. And maybe that was the reason I discovered this street photographer who photographed me, because I was actually looking at other people. I had my eyes up here and not like towards the ground or in my phone or something. I started out the walk feeling very nervous, but pretty soon I realized that actually being out there taking street photos, taking photos of other people, is not anywhere near as scary as I imagined that it would be. Sure, it's a little bit scary, but it's not super scary. It's more fun than scary. And actually today I watched a street photography YouTuber that I really like. Walk Like Alice is his channel name. Really good videos. And he said something really good and profound, I think. And that is that to become more confident as a street photographer and to be able to like walk close to people and take their photo, what you need is lots and lots of positive experiences in the streets. Because I think if you've done enough hours of street photography and you have mostly positive experiences, that will make you calmer and more relaxed and more confident. I'm pretty certain of that. So I think what I need, if I am to become good at this, is just many hours of doing street photography. And I think he said it in a really good way. Like you just need lots of positive experiences, and that is what will build your confidence. And towards the end of my photo walk, I felt very uplifted and happy, and I actually felt more connected to the people of my city. Like for the first time I had actually looked at them and even taken their photos. And it was a great feeling. So I am really looking forward to doing more street photography. And who knows, maybe this channel will turn into a street photography channel. I don't know yet. I've tried some other genres in the past. For example, I tried wildlife for a few weeks. It was a lot of fun in the beginning, but I discovered after a while that it wasn't exciting enough for me. And we'll see about street photography. So far, after doing it for just 1 or 2 hours. It feels super exciting to me. But the real test will be if I still feel this excited after a month, after 2 months, after 6 months. If I still feel excited after 6 months, then this will be a major thing in my life, I think. And obviously I really, really suck. My photos that I took yesterday are not good. I am not happy with any of them. Some are better than others, but none of them are photos that I'm proud of. But it's a start. I mean, the first time you try something new, you will not be that good. But let's walk through the photos and I can talk a little bit about them. So I took around 200 photos in total yesterday, and I picked a few ones that I'm not by any means proud of any of them, but they were the ones that I think came out best. So this is a guy who is photographing the pigeons, and I photographed him doing that. When I walked around yesterday, I tried to find calm, nice backgrounds so that I could have a subject stand out. And I think the sea here in the background, and it was raining, so the air was a bit like misty. It made for a nice background. And another photo of just the birds. I think it was a little bit funny with the bird looking straight at me in the foreground. This is probably my favorite photo from yesterday. This person running in the rain. I like how the street lights create like a leading line leading up to this person running. What I don't like what could have been better is I should have used a wider aperture to get the background more blurred out. That would have made a photo look a lot nicer, I think. I'm still pretty happy with it. I think it's probably my favorite from yesterday. Here's another one. I got the inspiration here from Fredrik Axling again, I think, that like you don't necessarily need a person to look towards you or to like be facing away. You could also photograph them like slightly from the side like this, or slightly obscured. It can look interesting. Not that I'm saying that this is an interesting photo, but yeah, I just wanted to experiment with that idea. Here is from the old town. I found this gate beautiful. Stopped quickly, snapped a photo with a person in it. And I think that is one of my realizations about street photography. Like earlier when I tried street photography, I wasn't brave enough to include other people, and therefore my photos became extremely boring. I think you most of the time need other people in the photos to make them interesting, to make them feel alive. I've noticed this myself, that when I look at other people's street photography, like if you don't have people in the photos, it will be a boring photo most of the time. So here I was below the royal castle, stood here waiting for the lights to turn green, snapped a couple of photos. They are not anything special, it's just like people passing by on bikes. What I liked about this photo is that we have a very clear contrast between the background, which is like grayish, and the person standing here, which is in all black. I really try to find this kind of contrast because with a more interesting background and then with a more interesting person doing something more interesting, this could have been an awesome photo because at least the contrast is there. And I think it's important to have this contrast between subject and background. Another photo from the sea. What kind of ruins this photo is that the light pole intersects with the people. Otherwise, it's a pretty okay photo. I also think I should have taken it from a lower angle to make it more aesthetically pleasing, probably. Here is another photo a couple of seconds later. Slightly more interesting. We have someone running here in the background. Still, though, like a pretty boring photo, even though I like that I again got a good contrast between the foreground, the people, and the lamp, and the background, which is more grayed out. This one was pretty nice. Like if the light pole hadn't been there in the background, I would have been very happy with this photo. Then it would have been a very beautiful, nice photo. You have this well-dressed person, like this mystery person, obscured by the umbrella. Really a shame that I had a light pole there. And the reason for that is, of course, that I was nervous. Like, I didn't have time to do the composition. I was just taking a quick snapshot like this. I was nervous that someone would see me doing this or whatever, probably. So I think, like, as I become more confident in myself over time, probably a photo like this, I would have done a much better job at getting a good composition. Actually, next time I go out, I would probably maybe try another camera. I love my Ricoh GR3X, but the problem is that it does not have a flippable screen. So it's really hard to do like compositions like this one, which I did mostly yesterday, because it's hard to see exactly what's on the screen. So I think actually next time I will take my new, or pretty new, Sony a7C II. Pretty compact camera. Of course I will use a smaller lens, like a pancake or something. But then at least I can... I just realized that this screen is not ideal because I need to like flip it out like this. So it's not ideal for street photography. Anyway, I might try this camera next time because it's still good to be able to like see actually what the composition is when you're not holding the camera like this. And that's it. Just wanted to kind of document my thoughts and feelings from my very first street photography photo walk. If I continue doing street photography for a couple of years, if that would happen, it will be nice to have this video for myself as like a reference point. This was where my mind was at when I started, and this was how my photos looked. And it's interesting to compare like a year later, 2 years later, and so on. And I don't know yet if street photography will be a thing for me or not. Right now I feel excited for it. We'll see in a couple of months if I still am. And I will report back on this channel if I continue doing street photography. See you soon again.